What's good, everybody? Welcome to Bowler's Paradise. My name is Ben. I'm a USBC Silver Certified Coach, and today we are taking a look at the all-new One Encore from Ebonite. As we fire it up, scroll on down and hit that subscribe button. Let's be honest, it's pretty rare to find honest cross-brand comparisons of bowling balls these days, and that's what we're best at. So if you like it, make sure you hit that notification bell too so you don't miss out on the next one. Jay-Z once famously said, "Can I get an encore?" And 20 years later, yep, 20 years later, Ebonite finally says yes. The One Encore follows the One Remix, which was released early last season, with both of them featuring the Centrex Symmetrical Mass Bias core with a fast 2.46 RG, huge 0.56 differential, and an even huger 0.27 intermediate diff. On the outside of the hemi inside this thing is the HK22 GB hybrid cover, finished to 4000 grit out of the box. This cover is derived from what was used on the One Remix and the Maverick line, but it's the first hybrid in the One line in a very long time. For the layout, I went with a 4.5 by 4.5 by 3 2LS layout. This is the same layout that I used on the Infinite Physix, as honestly I see a lot of overlap between those two pieces. Sure, the Encore here is a hybrid, but the cores are both huge, and the REX Pearl finished at 4K fast played like a hybrid to my eye, and that was a shape I love to see. So if I could count on more of that, you can count me in. And on the lanes, I absolutely did see more of that shape I loved so much. This one from Ebonite just rocked the house on this house shot and was a ton of fun to throw. Brunswick really dialed in the HK22 hybrid cover stock on this one, similar to the success we saw with the high speed from Columbia 300. Comparing these two to the Defender hybrid, the performance is just leaps ahead, which is awesome for the Brunswick brands as they figure out what works with this new additive. And more specifically, this One Encore had an awesome balance of core and cover strength. Neither of them are weak by any means, but it is also a balanced reaction because both the cover and the core are just super strong. It takes what the One Remix was good at and just opens up the mid lane a bit more and makes the shape on this high ratio condition just fantastic from the foul line to the pins. As always though, I have to pay respect to the downsides to the piece, and on the Encore, you can't be fancy with how you throw it. You gotta be direct and trust the ball to do some of the work for you. If you get around it or give it the slow wheel all the way around the lane, you're defeating the purpose of a ball like this. But if you're ready to just fire this thing to the pins, putting it in an arsenal with a GB4 hybrid and a Hammer Ocean vibe could be a great trio on the lanes. The Encore would be far and above the strongest of the three, but the GB4 hybrid has similar core numbers but is symmetric, and the Ocean vibe was probably the last ball I reviewed that loved to be fired up the lane like the Encore. It's three balls that would allow you to run your A game across all three and just worry about being in the right place with your feet and your angles. Then for our cross-brand comparisons, I first took a look at the Skyraptor from Motive, and yes, these two pieces are very different. But until Motive comes out with a new shiny ASIM, it's the best I've got. But even with that difference, the shape off the end of the pattern is pretty similar between the two. The Encore is undoubtedly stronger, but they both have a generally forward motion from the end of the oil pattern into the pocket. The second comparison is to the Zen Gold label from 900 Global. I would have preferred the original, but this piece balances core and cover strength just like the Encore, but less strength overall between the two. They both have a rounded hook phase, but with the Zen not having quite as much differential and a symmetrical core, it's slightly more reliable than the Encore once I get inside of fifth arrow. But with that, here's my recommendations on the types of bowlers that I think would match up well with this piece. The first is low axis tilt bowlers. Blending a heavy mid lane roll with some easy length through the fronts is a dream for low tilt players like me. This one shot to the top of my go-to list for my game because if I can trust a ball to both roll heavy and carry when I typically can only have one or the other, you can be sure I'm taking advantage of that. The second would be bowlers with a mid to high ball speed. This is more of a non-recommendation for those with a slow ball speed, as I think it's just way too much ball if you can't get it above 15 miles an hour. The likely reality is that by the time it gets to the pins, it'll have rolled out entirely and the likelihood of carrying the corners is diminished significantly. So it might not be a multi-platinum hip-hop record, but the all-new One Encore from Ebonite is sure to add a ton of hits to your bowling scores, and you can pick this up today and much more at bowlersparadise.com. Be sure you use that discount code YouTube at checkout for free shipping. Thank you to Nick Pluff for the drilling of this piece and to Dale's Weston Lanes for letting us film this video. If you haven't yet, like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell for more ball and product reviews, and as always, remember you guys, having the right ball in your hands, now that's a bowler's paradise. Peace.